Welcome to the Self Reliant Living Show, where we talk all about a self-reliant lifestyle to save money, live greener, eat healthier, and be prepared for anything so you can take care of the ones you love in good times and bad. I'm your host, Jennifer Osich, a homeschooling mom of 3 boys. I'm the author of the Preparedness Planner series, and my husband and I are the lead teachers of Self Reliant School, a website dedicated to giving you the skills and confidence to take care of yourself and your community. Be sure to stop by and pick up your free videos from inside Self Reliant School that will get you started growing, cooking, and preserving your own food today. You can pick these up at selfreliantschool.com/free. Now, on with the show. Hi, and welcome to the Self Reliant Living Show. I'm so glad that you are here today. We are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, we are on Periscope. We couldn't be on Instagram today because we have a guest, but I did hop on over there in the pre-show and let everybody know, so hopefully they'll be joining us shortly. So, welcome to the show. We have our intro for the first time. I hope you guys liked that, because before there wasn't really a beginning of the or ending of the pre-show and a beginning of the real show. So we decided to put that little intro in there. So welcome to the Self Reliant Living Show. There are, like I said, a ton of different ways to watch. You can watch on Facebook, and if you are on Facebook, I would really appreciate it if you shared this video. Also, I love the feedback with the hearts and the likes. I love hearing from you in the comments as well, so please leave me a comment. And then, of course, like I said, we are on Instagram sometimes when we don't have a guest, not today because we do. We are also on Periscope, so if you prefer to watch on Periscope, you can definitely watch there. And we are also live on YouTube, so you can watch over there if you prefer. I know there are some people who prefer YouTube as to some of the other platforms. Okay, and we are also on selfreliantlife.tv. That is where you can watch the replay and you can get the show notes for this episode. And then we are also on iTunes. We upload the show as a podcast. You can listen just in your earbuds if you want to listen on the go. Then we are also live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Pacific. And if you want to go to the show notes to this particular show, then you can go to selfreliantlife.tv/034. Okay, so like I said, if you're on Facebook, I love those likes and hearts, and please share. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe and give me some thumbs up. And also, if you are on Periscope, please do the same and share. I think you swipe on Periscope to share, and I would really appreciate that. Okay, so who am I if I am just showing up in your feed and you have no idea who I am? My name is Jennifer Osich, and I am the author of the Preparedness Planner series, and my husband and I are the lead teachers at Self Reliant School, and we teach gardening, cooking, and preserving skills through our blog and our membership. And I am also the host of this show, the Self Reliant Living Show. And so welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so today we have a really, really special guest because she's actually local. She's not like next door local, but she's in Texas. Her name is Connie Gibson, and like I always do with all my guests, I read their bio. She is from C&J Farms. It's a family-run farm in Corsicana, Texas, and all of their products are one-of-a-kind seasoned blends, which are all made by hand. Without any artificial ingredients or preservatives. And she also infuses honey with some wonderful flavors and fresh ingredients. So welcome, Connie.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I'm so thrilled that you're with us today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your passions? You know, what led you to this place in life?
That's kind of I get that question a lot, actually. And it just stemmed from, I'm a city girl, born and raised, lived in Dallas most of my life. And we were actually in McKinney, and my husband was still traveling a lot. And we decided we wanted to get out of the rat race a bit. So we moved to Corsicana, which is about 60 miles south of Dallas. And I have always enjoyed growing things. Even when I lived in McKinney, I had a yard full of flowers and fresh herbs and things like that. So my new daughter-in-law in our life, her and my son came to live close to us, and she began growing herbs as well. Long story short, one day we were all hanging out, and she definitely has a green thumb, and I do all right with that as well. But she had some of the largest basil plants we've ever seen. So just out of a comment one day, my husband said, "Well, what do you think you have on that plant out there?" And all of us just kind of went, "I don't know." But that's kind of what started the idea. And it has just grown over the last 4 years.
Okay, so you started so that's a wonderful story. I mean, it's like you were just looking at herbs one day and go, wow. So is that what made you want to start your own business? I mean, surely it's one thing to say, because I'm guilty of this a lot, oh, how hard can it be? And then, you get in there and you're like, oh, whoa, this is a little bit different than what I thought. So what made you decide to really make it a business and, to share it with other people and really bring it to the market like as a product?
Well, in my life, we have, in our family, we have a lot of chronic illness in family. So over the last 15 years, I have begun to research healthier diets, healthier foods, and how to easily put that in our day. So that was a side journey that I was taking, which other parts of our family were taking as well. So we decided that herbs, I learned that herbs were a great nutritional value. They're much more than just flavor. Of course, that helps. The flavor is awesome, but having nutrition in every bite is awesome as well. So we started off slow. I started drying because I had an abundance of herbs. And so to preserve the herbs, we were just drying everything. So we took the herbs up to the farmer's market, the local farmer's market, and tried to sell them there. And people were receptive and positive, but they indicated they just didn't really know what to do with them. Mm-hmm. They didn't know how to cook with the herbs. So that began to develop our thinking. And I'm not a great cook either. So at that point, I thought, okay, people need instruction. They need guides on how to use these. And the food change was already beginning in the areas. People are automatically more interested in healthy products. And I had learned about certainly the things that were not healthy for us. So that's kind of what drove the business. We started off by just trying to determine if there was a market. And we did that by going to local farmers markets.
And obviously there is.
Yeah, there is a market for sure. People are very happy to know we grow the herbs and that everything is fresh and pure.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, so do you mind me asking, you were saying that you dry the herbs. How do you dry them? Do you do it the old-fashioned way by hanging them up, or do you dehydrate them? How do you do that?
I do use a dehydrator. Okay. In the very beginning, I hung some. I don't like that process for commercial use. Mm-hmm. I want my product better protected.
Oh, yeah.
So we use commercial dehydrators.
Yes, love dehydrators. That is wonderful that you started studying the medicinal purposes of herbs, and then just, were really wanting to put those into your diet, because I know there's a lot of people who want to do that. And that's one of the easiest ways to get some of those benefits with herbs, is to use them as seasonings and things. So tell us what your mission is then. Is that it in terms of, helping people with their health and making it something that is not only tasty but is good for you and nutritional? Did that become your mission?
I think it's a side mission, actually, because, again, there's a big educational curve for the general public. So what we have found the general public is most interested in is a delicious, pure seasoning that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. We wanted to bring healthy, good product at a reasonable price to market. And that's what we think we've done.
Wow. So taste first. I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. Okay. So, but you actually live on a farm, right? And so can you tell us a little bit about that and how you incorporate that into your life? And, you said that you moved out there because you were tired of the rat race, but can you just tell us about, your farm life basically and what it's like to live on a farm and then actually run a business too?
Yeah, it's quite different for the city girl, actually, to live on a farm. But I've made the adjustment, and now I really do enjoy it. It was an adjustment. That's no joke. It truly was. But we just make the things a part of our day. So I have many, many gardens in which we constantly work. I have greenhouses that we plant every winter and to get our products started, our herbs started. We have a few cattle on our ranch, and we have a couple of goats. Those have been great food assets as well. The cattle we raise only breastfed beef, so that we always have food. We always have beef being raised and ready for processing all the time. So we do that for our personal use in our family. But the cattle are really easy. They're easy, docile animals. They're an Angus breed, so they're easy to deal with. But the majority of what we do now is planting and growing. I use several different types of gardening. I use just in-bed gardening, but I also use what we call Keyhole gardens for developing our growing space as well.
I was going to ask you about that. Could you tell us what that is for people who don't know what Keyhole gardening is?
Yeah, I can. It's a raised garden bed. It's raised about 4 feet off the ground. There's a notch. You can build a circle, but you put a notch in the circle. And in the center of the cone, it's 6 feet in diameter. And in the center of that, you put a cone about 8 inches in diameter. And that's where you constantly feed produce. Old, like kitchen scraps, anything green, no butter, no protein, things like that. So it's constantly a sustainable way. You're always making earth. You fill up the Keyhole garden with tons and tons and tons of cardboard that you have to gather and save over time. And then you layer it in like a 6-to-3 ratio as you build it up of green matter and brown matter. It really is an efficient way. It gives you a lot of surface area in a very small space. And I'm not having to worry about weeding. It's fertilizing itself all the time. I'm using scraps to maintain that. So it's just a wonderful, sustainable way of gardening.
Now, do you teach this way of gardening, or this is just something that you guys do on your property?
Currently, I don't teach it. It's just a method of growing herbs that I like a lot. It works very well. I think in the future we may opt to do that, but currently we do not.
Okay, so when you started your own business, how did you guys do that? Did you just sort of jump off and say, okay, now going forward, we're going to work on this business? Did you, how did you make the transition from being, I'm assuming that, you had some other source of income. How did you make the transition to starting your own business from being or working for somebody else?
I had always worked in the corporate environment, but had retired before we moved down here. So I don't like to not be busy. I really want. I don't like being still. So what we started small. Number one, just to try to test the market. We did determine that the market was available. And I want to say played with it for about a year and a half. And then there was a moment when me and my husband looked at each other and said, okay, we have to, are we going to make this a serious business or not? And we sat down with our family and asked them to come aboard and participate. And that was when we all consciously made the decision to go, yes, this is what we're going to do. So it is a retirement source of income.
Okay, so you had worked your whole life, and then
Yes.
that didn't really want to retire in the way
Yeah.
that most people retire, and you're
Yeah.
like, well, hey, let's do this
Yeah.
different thing. Well, how exciting!
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you pick out the products for your business, and how do you develop them? Is it all just sort of customer driven, or do you have great ideas and you're like, I think I'm going to test this?
I won't say necessarily that I have great ideas. I have an idea of what goes together, and I just started playing with those, and it really started based on the herbs that I had available. After we decided we had to start doing seasonings rather than just offering dried or fresh herbs, then I began to get much more particular about things, writing recipes, trying to determine if we like them, changing them up, practicing that a bit. And then we just kind of move on from there. I did listen to our customers after we decided we really wanted to make this a serious business. We started with a few things, and then I listened to the customer. And they would tell me, that looks like it'll be great with if it didn't have any salt in it. Or what about this? Do you do anything with garlic? Do you have something with this? Things like that. So the customers really have helped develop the product along the way. One of the things that was of personal interest to me was the infused honey.
Yeah, tell us about that. So, because you have sort of two flagship products. You have the spices, and then you also have infused honey. So tell us about the difference, in terms of what you do for the spices, and then also what you do for the honey.
Well, we do all the growing and dehydrating of the herbs. Then I do all the blending. We have a commercial kitchen that we use. But at one point a few years ago, I had, in my learning about health issues, I began to understand how important raw honey is, what a fantastic food source it is, and how many benefits there are to raw honey. So just to make it different, because I don't raise the bees, I do source that honey locally. I do know the beekeepers. I know where the honey comes from. It's local to our metroplex. But I only want to use fresh ingredients. I never want to use oils or imitation flavorings or anything like that. So just to have an easy, quick change in my kitchen, I started with lavender honey. And I took lavender flower buds and began to just infusion. I put them in the honey. So it infuses flavor over a long period of time. And you strain the honey, strain it all out so that you end up with a flavored honey. But it's all natural and all delicious, not harming any of the good benefits of the raw honey. Yeah.
I love
that. So currently we have, I believe we have 8 flavors of the raw honey. And that has been one of my favorite things to play. Is trying to come up with new flavors.
Without giving any secrets away or anything like that, but could you just tell us briefly, how do you do that? How do you infuse the honey? I mean, do you cook the lavender first? I mean, what's the process?
Anybody can do it. Anyone can do it in their kitchen. You just take some raw honey and you put whatever in it you think you want to put in it. If you want it to taste like lemon, so I always use fresh ingredients. So just take your lemon and put it in the honey. Keep it covered, keep it sealed. So you don't have to use any heat at all. You can just seal it. You can put it in a windowsill. You can just let it be. Turn your jar over occasionally. Let it sit for a few weeks. Strain it out. When you've got the flavor you want, it's ready. And you can use anything from fresh fruit to fresh herbs and a million things in between.
Oh.
So the process is simple. It's just a little time consuming.
So how long does it usually take to get the flavors? Does it just depend on the ingredients and the strength
It does.
and the ingredients?
It does. It truly does.
So now
Lavender takes the longest for us to develop the flavor.
Now I want to go into my kitchen and do that.
Yeah.
It sounds so wonderful.
Yeah, it is wonderful.
And that's one of my kids' favorite things in the world, to have a snack with, when they go to any kind of, craft show or anything where they find infused honey. That's the first thing they ask. Oh, Mom, can I have that?
Some honey.
So, and it is wonderful. But I have never made it before. So that's something that I'll have to experiment with.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how did you get your name? Your C&J Farms, is that your initials, or how did you come up with that?
Yes, it's just our initials. We were completely unimaginative. Completely.
I love
but
that.
We didn't start off our farm as an herb farm. We started off our farm in a very different thought process. So it developed, and we just decided we'd just put our initials on it and move on down the road.
Well, so, do you mind sharing with us what that thought process was like? How did it start off in terms of it was different than an herb farm?
Oh my goodness! Well, my husband had talked me into, when we were still sitting in McKinney, as city people, which we definitely are. He had decided that he thought we should raise goats. Well, we did attempt that. And he was still traveling 95% of the time. So he was gone most of the time. And he traveled internationally, not just locally. So when I was having 50 goats, going to labor all within 7 days, and I was by myself, we had a change of heart with my husband.
Wow, that must have been traumatic.
It was traumatic, actually. Goats are not an easy creature.
Yeah, I've heard that. I haven't ever kept them before, but I have heard tell of their behavior, and that they're wonderful, but that it takes a special person to raise them and care for them. Exactly. Okay, so let's see here. So you were telling us a little bit about the infused honey, and you were telling us about the spices, and so you have an online store. So can you tell us a little bit about, if somebody were to visit your online store, what they would find and how they would navigate it?
Yes, it's truly simple. CJFarmsTexas.com is our online location, and it just is all about the product. So it is we think it's easy to manage. You can pick herb blends, sea salt blends, so they're kind of categorized for you. We give a detailed description, whether they have salt, all the ingredients, everything that you want to know about the product. And it's very easy to go online. We try to run a special every month. We do encourage people to sign up for our newsletter online, and that way they know what our specials are about for the month.
So that way they can they get that information or the coupon or however you deliver that when they sign up for the email.
That's correct, yeah, when they sign up for the newsletter. Yeah.
Okay, so where else would people be able to find you? Like, you said you went to different kinds of markets. Have you been to the state fair? Is that right?
We were at the state fair. This last October, we were at the state fair in the Food and Fiber Pavilion. That was a blast. That was just so much fun. I'd never been to the fair as an adult, so it was just overall a great experience. But we got to meet so many people and people interested in food. We do a lot of trade shows, and we do a lot in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And we do a lot of farmers markets as well. And
you have a little bitty store where you are, too. Is that correct?
I do. I have a small storefront on our property. Part of our property is on a very busy highway, so it's highway frontage. And that's where our grown son, he works for us, that's where he offices, but we also have a lovely store there. You can sample our products there. So you can taste everything before you decide which ones you want to buy.
Oh, that's wonderful. So what kinds of things do you have there? Do you have your whole product line there? If people were driving by, they could, come in and sample everything, or how does that work? Do you have additional things there?
I do have additional things there that I don't take to the farmers markets or the shows. For example, I do a little bit of medicinal herbs, so I dry those and keep those in bulk. They're available in bulk, along with all the culinary herbs as well. So if you just want some dill, you can buy just some dill. We have some seeds that we offer that I don't carry in bulk because I just don't grow them in that kind of quantity. So we have bulk items that you can purchase. We have everything that we have jarred available. We have all of the honeys available. And then we offer some nice gift items, a line of greeting cards that are herb focused, some other great vendors' products and jams that we offer, and some bread mixes, scones, and rustic cool bread mixes. Those are really great too. So we have quite a variety of things. It's always a fun, interesting place for people to stop.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Okay, so you're all about these herbs, right? So let me ask you this: do you have any tea blends? Have you ventured out into that area, and do you plan to?
I haven't, but it's so easy to do. And the reason I haven't is, honestly, I just don't have the time. We'd have to build staff for that. But I am we are expanding gardens this spring so that we can offer more fresh products to local Texas tea blenders so that they can get fresh product here local for their tea. But you can make teas out of simple just lemongrass, lavender, peppermint, spearmint, things like that. So we all have those available all the time.
That's wonderful. That's one of my favorite things in the world is tea and herbal
tea.
Yes, and herbal tea. So that is that's great, and I know there's a market for that because I would be half the market.
Yeah, there is a market for that for sure.
Okay, so can you give us some tips? You said that you have gone through this sort of learning journey, and so can you give us some tips about purchasing organic food and cooking it and preserving it? What is your take on that, and how do you do it on your farm?
Okay. Organic is important. We are not organic. We are not certified organic. I use all organic practices when I'm growing, when I'm drying. So there is no preservatives, and I only purchase seeds that are GMO free. They've been tested GMO free. So part of what I strive to do is make our product not only delicious and fresh, but affordable. I don't like that healthy food generally is so much more expensive. I don't think it's necessary. So we strive to keep things reasonable in that area. I do think breastfed beef is fantastic. It's so helpful for you. Anything that you can get that is pure and fresh is just better for you. So we raise our own beef. Our son and daughter-in-law raise chickens and ducks. They have their own eggs. They will be adding pork, I believe, to the farm. So we kind of share those food things. But I keep everything I plant on my farm, generally speaking, is an edible, whether it's a flower, whether it's a tree, or dryable in some form. If it's not edible, I want it to be medicinal in some way. So we strive to make sure that everything we plant, if my grandkids go out and put something in their mouth, it's going to be okay for the most part.
Yeah. Okay, so you brought up something really important, and could you elaborate on it a little bit? And that is that you said you're not certified organic, but you use all organic practices. So there are a lot of people like that because it's pretty costly to be certified organic. So if I'm a customer and I go out and I'm seeking products that are raised organically like you do, what questions should I ask? How can I find that information out? And could you elaborate a little bit about, being certified versus growing everything organic. And just because you're not certified doesn't mean that you're not growing things organically.
Right. My products are as organic as anybody's else's say they are. But it's just the USDA certification that we don't have. And we don't have it because it's costly. And there are so many rules around it. The property we have is a small property. It's about 20 acres. So there's a lot of land around us that is not organic. And those factors have to be taken into account, not just your property, but the properties that lie around you. Okay? So we will not be certified at any time. That it's not part of our goal.
Mm-hmm.
Using organic practices is a part of our goal.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we make sure that we do that.
Yeah.
So all of my stuff I can say, this is pure, fresh. We tell people we use organic practices. Ask your local farmer. Ask the people where you do your grocery shopping. But just because they say it's organic doesn't necessarily always mean it's helpful.
Mm.
Okay? So GMOs play a big role in that. And you can be organic, but have a GMO problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that confusing?
I'm having a little trouble hearing you. Could you repeat that just because
Okay.
I think you cut out there.
Did I? I
so.
said, I think that just because something is organic does not mean it's all the way healthy for you.
Mm-hmm.
You can be organic and still have GMO product.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to educate yourself a little bit about where those lines are. But always err on the side of organic rather than not, if you don't know.
Yeah, yeah. And so those are important questions to ask whoever you're
Yes, they
buying
are.
from. So,
Yes.
okay, that's great. Because that's something that I think a lot of people don't know, that, just because you're not certified doesn't mean that, you're growing with a bunch of chemicals or whatever. So
Right.
that is really something that's important. Okay, so you're talking about Keyhole gardening and, what a wonderful thing that is. Can you give us a few gardening tips for those people that are just now thinking about, I really need to get out there and start doing something with my garden? What are, your 3 best gardening tips?
Let's see. Let me think about that. It doesn't have to be expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Just use what you have. Gather some cardboard, even if you're going to make a small 10 by 10 garden in your yard. Gather some cardboard, and that means you can use boxes, you can use cereal boxes, you can use stuff that you typically throw away if you drink soda, have the packages. Collect enough cardboard to put down where you want your garden to be. I would say you don't even have to get rid of the grass. Just put it down, weight it down. That cardboard will begin to kill the grass in that area. You can also use pure cotton clothing, or you can use burlap bags if you want. Same thing. Then let it sit now for a while. If you can just get your garden area determined. So once that's determined, weight it down and just wait about 4 or 5 weeks. Then you can begin. Then that ground is going to be all that's going to begin to decompose, which is putting healthy nutrients into the ground. And now you can add a little bit of manure or potting soil on top, and you're ready to dig your garden. You shouldn't have any weeds because all of that's a barrier, but it's also putting good fertilizer, preparing the earth well. Then plant your garden. Plant what you want to plant, and mulch. Mulch is really important. We only suggest using hardwoods or cedar mulches, no plastics, no rubbers, nothing like that. We don't know how those have been treated, and in my mind, that's a risk. So we just use hardwood mulches or cedar mulches on top of that. That's it. Make sure you water and watch the plants grow and enjoy eating off of them all the time. Matter of fact, my favorite thing to do this time of year is to plant lettuces. It is the easiest thing to grow. You can do them in a pot, and they are delicious.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things to do too,
Mm.
is just to, because it's like the first harvest, you know, it's just one of the things that, oh, I get to go out there and you know, just sort of pick my lettuce for my salad that night or whenever I'm having it. And it's just, there's nothing like the first harvest. So I love that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so where can people find out more about you? You mentioned your website, and I think we have some pictures of the different things that you offer, your spices and different things that you have at your store. Bill's shaking his head, so I'm not sure what's going on with the graphics. But
Okay.
you do
That's
have
all right.
a special that you want to let everybody know about.
Yes, between now and the end of February, any of our online orders, if they go online, they can get free shipping through the end of the month. Place an order for $45 or more, and everything comes to you shipping free. So it's a great opportunity. We ship in regional A packages, so it can hold a significant amount of product. It's not a problem to fill that. You can order 10 things pretty easily in that box. So it's a good, efficient way to do it. So yes, if you haven't tried it, you don't have to pay shipping this month.
That's great. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Connie, for being here. It's just been a real pleasure to talk to you, and I love talking to people who have this, you know, this heart for organic food and for farming and, you know, doing things themselves. That's just wonderful. It's been a joy to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. It's been a joy for me too.
Okay, so if you're just joining us in the middle of this broadcast, then I want you to know that we have been talking to Connie Gibson from C&J Farms, and she was telling us all about her spices and her organic farming or gardening practices that she has. And so if you're joining us in the middle, be sure to go back and catch the replay of this, and then of course all the show notes, so that you will not miss anything that she had to say. She gave us some great tips, and she was sharing with us how she actually started her business. And so if you're interested in doing something like that, you can definitely be inspired by her story. Okay, so remember, being self-reliant is not just about yourself, it's about taking care of yourself so you can take care of the ones that you love. Take care until we talk again. I'm so glad you could join me today. Here's what to do next. Head over to selfreliantlife.tv to pick up the show notes for this episode and to watch replays of older episodes. To go directly to the show notes for this episode, go to selfreliantlife.tv, and then without a space, type a / and then the number of today's episode. You can watch this show live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, live on Facebook or the Periscope app. Don't forget to stop by selfreliantschool.com/free to get your free Self-Reliant School videos that will help you get started living a self-reliant life. Also, if you're listening to this show as a podcast and you've liked what you've heard today, please subscribe through Stitcher, iTunes, or your favorite podcast app. If you're on a mobile device, just search for the Self Reliant Living Show. If you're on a laptop or desktop, just go to selfreliantlife.tv/iTunes. And while you're there, please leave a review. I love to hear from you. You leaving feedback makes it easier for others that are interested in living a self-reliant life to find my podcast. Take care until we talk again.